tore up, and that's big because there could be rain coming too. And if I'm Tommy Baldwin and Dave Blaney and those guys down there, I'm thinking, oh me,
Bring on the rain.
I'm sitting on something big here, baby.
Absolutely, they could. One of those teams that came down had to race their way into the 500. They did exactly that. Dave Blaney did. And now let's take a look at the weather map to see what we're looking at in terms of rain. We're the red dot. And this is Central Florida, so rain does tend to break up and move around. They always say about Central Florida, if you don't like the weather, stick around for a while. It'll change. We've dodged raindrops all night long.
Well, you could see it looked like for sure we were going to have a rain shower hit us, but then it dissipated as it got closer to the Daytona area. So hopefully we can get this track fixed up and go back to racing, because like Darrell said, the storm's brewing, not the weather. These guys on the racetrack, they're starting to really push it hard. They're going to take so many chances in the last laps of this race. It's going to be fun to watch.
There are a lot of hungry drivers out there. For more, let's send it back up to the booth with Mike Joy. Mike?
Tommy Baldwin, who owns Dave Blaney's car, is a contrary. Whatever everybody else does, he's going to do something different. In 2002, in the 500, he short-pitted Ward Burton, stopped before he needed fuel and tires. When the checkered flag waved, there was his driver in victory lane. Can he and Ryan Pemberton and Dave Blaney do it again?
This place has become almost notorious for people winning a race that have never won a race before. I mean, we've had two already this week in the Truck Series and in the Nationwide Cars on Saturday, and here we are with four guys at the front of the field that have never won a race. We may be setting up for something really special here tonight.
And Blaney's a winner. He's no back of the packer. He's been a World of Outlaws champion, and when called on to race that way into the 500, he got it done and now finds himself in the lead.
Yeah, those four drivers hope that green blob get bigger and bigger and bigger. But should we get back racing, and we're comfortable and confident we will, four drivers that I'm watching, three of them they've won the 500 in the last 4 or 5 years. Matt Kenseth, he's been so strong the entire speed weeks. Kevin Harvick, our 2007 winner, making a little noise. McMurray won it a couple years ago. He's up there now. But there's always Dale Earnhardt Jr. I don't think he has shown his complete hand just yet.
Well, let's have a look at the leaderboard. With Dave Blaney out front, you're looking at Dale Earnhardt Jr., Landon Castle, Tony Raines, David Gilliland, unheralded drivers who did not pit under that last caution. And then there's Matt Kenseth, one of those fast forwards. Earnhardt trying to break that 0 for 129 winless string. Casey Mears we've spoke of. Nice to see the Mears gang up near the front. Kevin Harvick inching his way to the front. Well, 40 laps to go. He may get there. Jamie McMurray's a past winner of this race. And Greg Biffle, who's been fast all week long. Joey Logano has been in position to be out front. Jeff Burton's led a bunch of laps. Mark Martin trying to win it for the first time. Brad Keselowski, he's won on restrictor plate tracks. Paul Menard, last year's Indy winner. Denny Hamlin's led the most laps. Carl Edwards started from the pole. Martin Truex is $200,000 richer. Ryan Smith's overcome trouble, and we've not seen the last of Regan Smith.
Almost every one of those drivers in the top 20 or so, they have shown at some point in the night that they can get to the front and run up front.
29 drivers are on the lead lap and still in a position to challenge for the Daytona 500. Now Montoya is out. Several cars have had trouble tonight and are laps down. Some, like Joe Nemechek, have been in and out of the garage. Back in the race, also Micah McDowell. Jimmy Johnson, five-time champion, out in a lap 2 crash. And there is the remains of Juan Pablo Montoya's Chevrolet. Everybody okay? And once again, it is commonplace for those emergency vehicles to be on track during a caution flag. They run the Whelen safety lights. They're easy to see. The drivers have no trouble avoiding them when they're in control of their car. And clearly, the car had broken, and he was a passenger as it slid up and into that trailer carrying the jet engine used to blow the track. Now both Montoya and the driver of that truck are being checked out in the infield care center. We did see both walk away, the truck driver with assistance, and Montoya walked to the ambulance and took the mandatory ride for a checkup.
The new surfaces that have been put on these racetracks over the last few years, they're a lot different mix than what we were accustomed to back in the day. They got a lot more polymers and a lot more different stuff in them than what, you know, other than sand and stone, rocks and all that stuff. So I'm not sure how it's going to affect this.
The only similar incident I can recall was in the late 1990s, I believe, at the Detroit Grand Prix, which was a street circuit. Mario Andretti came around a blind corner and nosed into the back of one of the safety trucks that was doing some cleanup work and ended up out of the race, but certainly nothing like this. Red flag with 40 laps to go in the Daytona 500. And they're still cleaning up from that bizarre accident in turn number 3. We'll be back to Daytona International Speedway live on Fox. Daytona 500 aerial coverage is brought to you by DirecTV. Only DirecTV gives you dedicated driver channels so you never miss a second of your driver's race. Call 1-800-DirecTV. We are under the red flag still at Daytona. You're looking at the turn 3 banking, 31 degrees steep, and you see this big forklift loading type machine that is going to be used to remove the safety truck from the turn 3 banking. The reason being, the tires are flat from the fire. They don't want to do any further damage to the race surface by removing that vehicle, trying to drive it down the banking. We're under the red flag. 4 cars that did not pit are at the front of the Daytona 500, including the leader, the car owned by the man who's up on the spotter stand with Jeff Hammond.
Mike, I am up here with Tommy Baldwin, owner of the 36 car leading the race right now. I know some moment ago you were looking at the jerk cam trying to see how much damage was done over there and what they were doing. Currently, they're trying to lift that truck up rather than dig it into the asphalt because both tires are obviously burnt off of it, Tommy, to get it off the racetrack. What's your driver saying? You're in a pretty good position right now.
Yeah, I mean, thank goodness Juan's okay and the safety works are all right. But, I hope we get the race, back going. It's been a long, long week, a lot of issues, a lot of wrecks, a lot of stuff. But, I just told Roger Penske, I said, we've lost a lot of races, but I'm sure I didn't win one ever like this. But, the 36 Chevrolet, Ali Bargain and Outlet car's been awesome all day. We've just been hanging out, just trying to stay out of trouble. And we decided at the last minute to stay out, try to lead a lap for a point, and stay out till 1 to go, and then come in top off. So we're good for our green-white checkers. And unfortunately, something happened to Juan's car there in turn 3, but we'll see what happens.
But right now, do you feel like if it does go back green, you say you're going to come back down pit road, but can you get back up there and possibly put yourself back in position to wind up winning this thing?
Yeah, I think we can. I mean, we've been strong all week long and just been trying to stay out of trouble. We got a little race team here, and we're just trying to stay out of trouble, and hopefully we get a good finish at the end of the day.
Trying to stay out of trouble. We've been talking about it. To win it, you got to be around at the end.
Thanks, Jeff. Recalled a race early in the 1980s at Richmond Fairgrounds Raceway on the half mile. Cale Yarborough driving the Holly Farms car for Junior Johnson, spun off the front straightaway and spun into the front bumper of the fire truck. Didn't do any damage, but I was in the track office when the police officer came to file the report, and he asked Kenneth Campbell, "What's the license number of that vehicle?" And Kenneth looked around at the rest of us in the room and said, 11. No charges were filed. Down the banking gingerly. Trying not to drag and do too much damage to the surface. Now that's the trailer, not the truck, that's digging in a little bit there. NASCAR has officials on the scene. You see them in the white and black outfits that are going to analyze, see if there's any damage to the surface. Juan Pablo Montoya has been released from the care center. The driver of the track drying truck has been taken to Halifax Medical Center for further observation. A couple of years ago, we had a pothole in the racing surface in turn 2, which brought the race under the caution and led to this recent repaving. And they finally fixed the pothole in the track with Bondo, plastic body filler, and it held up to the finish of the Daytona 500. So the truck is off the track. They'll take a look at the surface, try to get that spilt fuel fixed up as Tommy Baldwin and others look on from the starter stand. Matt Yoakum.
Joey Myers, Brad Keselowski's pilot and spotter, and he's been telling Brad exactly what's been taking place with this accident. So for the first time probably in Daytona 500 history, Brad, who has his iPhone inside his race car, A lot of drivers during testing had special compartments built. He still has his phone inside the car. He tweeted a picture